If we had to start over in Raleigh, we would do it a lot differently than most people. We wouldn't be looking at where might have the most appreciation or the hottest spot that we read about on Instagram, but really looking at how we live our day-to-day life. We help people buy and sell here in the Raleigh area every day, and we've lived here for a long, long time. And so from our lived experience, we're gonna show you what it's like to start from scratch moving to Raleigh and the way that you should definitely do it. So stay tuned.
So in our experience, the area you choose is far more important than the house you choose. And so I'm going to explain some of our thinking in this before we get into the areas. But when you're thinking about a place to live, the first thing that comes to mind is, what does your day-to-day life look like? A lot of people think of like, what does my Saturday morning look like? But that's not a real good indicator of your day-to-day life. Like maybe there's a park you like to go to on a Saturday morning, but you're probably not going to that park Monday through Friday. So Monday through Friday is like, how close are we to our kids' school? Or how convenient is it to get to our preferred grocery store? Or how close are we to the gym that we love to go to? Like those are far more important things than what you do on the weekend. And the other aspect of it is flexibility. Like, are you buying in an area that works well for the future? Maybe you work from home now, but maybe you don't 5 years from now. Is that house gonna work in that scenario? Or maybe you don't have kids now, but you're thinking of having kids in the next 5 years. Is that area gonna work well for that? And so that's kind of the thought process we're thinking of as we're looking into these specific criteria that we're gonna put people into.
So category one, people who want to be right next to the action, enjoy going out to restaurants, nightlife. They want to be walkable-ish at least. You know, here in Raleigh, that's going to put you in places like historic Oakwood, North Hills, lots of parts of West Raleigh. If you're looking over in Durham, you can find that too in places like Trinity Park or Duke Park or condo living in downtown Durham. So you have a lot of options like that in kind of those pockets.
So like with everything, there are trade-offs. So there's trade-offs to that kind of lifestyle. So you're gonna end up paying a premium and you're gonna have an older house, or you're not gonna have things like a garage. So if you wanted space or a garage, like that kind of lifestyle just doesn't afford that in these older areas that are gonna be more walkable. So if you want the proximity to, you know, those nice local restaurants that are downtown or the art scenes that are downtown, this is great. But if you want a place to park your car in a garage where it's not gonna get snow on it or anything like that, not gonna be a great choice.
Yeah, for sure. If you are looking for more space and privacy or just a little more room to spread out, that is gonna put you in a different category. If you're watching this thinking, I don't need just a list of neighborhoods, I don't even know where to begin this journey and where my lifestyle might fit me best, feel free to reach out. We help people do this all the time, figuring out which part of the triangle, because the triangle is big and spread out, and there really are lots of different pockets for everybody, and we talk to people every day helping them figure out which section might be best for them before they even start touring homes in the area, and our contact info is below. So our next category, and this is where I think most people are gonna fall into, and that is just suburb living. So that means, you know, you're a little bit outside of the main areas, but still have everything really pretty close to your fingertips. You know, you're gonna need your car, you're probably not gonna find a lot of walkability, but everything's still gonna feel really convenient. And here and around Raleigh, that's gonna be areas like North Raleigh, and then you have other suburbs like Apex, Cary, Holly Springs, Wake Forest, all gonna really suit your needs well if you're looking for that suburb type lifestyle. Over in Durham, the southwest side of Durham is gonna be really kind of popping with a lot of those good types of neighborhoods and things like that. So you have a lot of access to things right there. These neighborhoods are all really amenity heavy, a lot of neighborhoods that have a lot of heavy amenities. So if you're looking for that neighborhood that has a playground and a pool for your kids, or you're looking for something that, you know, maybe in some of these towns, a school might even be walkable to the neighborhood in some of those towns, or, you know, dentist's office, Costco, the grocery store is all like gonna be a 10 or 15 minute drive. Livability is definitely like the highlight of the suburb.
Yeah, and these areas give a lot of flexibility on housing styles. So you can find new construction, you can find townhomes, you can find resale in neighborhoods that have tree-lined streets and more established areas. So there's a ton of flexibility there, but there's also trade-offs, right? There's trade-offs with everything. If you don't like HOAs, these areas are probably not gonna be the best fit because there's gonna be an abundance of HOAs. If you wanna be close to that really nice local restaurant, may not be a great option. Those restaurants may be more downtown, right? You might be 5 minutes from a Chipotle, but you're not gonna be necessarily 5 minutes from your favorite local restaurant. Or if you wanna be close to places like the DPAC or any other kind of art center, you know, those are gonna be found more in the urban areas than the suburb areas. But all that to say, like, there is a large segment of people that these regions, this category will fit very well.
Yeah, and I think those trade-offs are really worth it for a lot of people because they're like, well, you know, down the road, this is gonna be really easy to resell, or I can be really flexible if I work from home or go back, or kids are in school or go off to college and things like that. Like, you just have a lot of flexibility here.
The next category is for the folks who value privacy over convenience. You want to be a little further out. You don't mind the drive into town. That's the bucket that I fall in. Like that's what I like. I like being a little further out, having a little more space. You like a little more land. You don't mind the lack of convenience that those areas bring. Maybe you're somebody that has an RV and you want to park that in your driveway and nobody tell you that you can't. Or maybe you want some animals or whatever it is. These areas afford that option. So in our region, that's going to be areas like Hillsboro or parts of Chapel Hill, not Chapel Hill proper, but like the northern side or the western side or the southern side, which Cindy was joking when we were making this. She's like, that's every part of Chapel Hill, but not like downtown Chapel Hill, right? But the areas around it, or it's places like North Durham, or maybe on the southern side of Raleigh. So there's a lot of places in our region where you can get a little more space, a little more privacy. Obviously that comes with the lack of convenience, but for a lot of folks who want that, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I think the biggest trade-off here is gonna be, I think a lot of people go into this and then end up regretting the decision later because they've kind of romanticized what it looks like to have animals or have a yard that is 2 acres, and then every Saturday you're spending time mowing, right? If you've got animals, it's a lot of maintenance. So
that's why you live in the woods. You don't have to mow your yard.
Yeah, that's true. Make sure if you don't like mowing, don't pick something that's got a lot of field space in it, you know, but obviously those things come with trade-offs outside of just the obvious of being like a little further from things, you know, but you also have other things with maintenance and whatnot. You know, like we just recently had a snow and ice storm and our roads don't get cleared because we're not in the city limits, you know, so things like that, that if that's gonna be a bother to you, you just really have to take a hard look at yourself and say, am I really the type of person that wants to have that much yard to maintain or animals to maintain?
Yeah, and there's just the general lack of city amenities. So when you live further out, you probably are on a well, or maybe you're on a septic. Most likely you're on both. And so there is a lack of convenience that comes from that. Like when you lose power and you're on a well, you lose water unless you have a generator power in your well pump. And so there's just different things to consider with that type of lifestyle. But for some folks, that lack of convenience is well worth the privacy that comes with it.
So following those 3 categories, we are gonna get into some things you need to avoid before making a move. And before making a move as well, we are happy to chat with you about which of these areas is gonna fit your lifestyle best, and our contact info is below. But your first thing you're gonna definitely wanna avoid is choosing an area solely based on price points alone. A lot of times I think people come in and they're like, my budget means I need to be in this pocket of town or this suburb over here. And then they end up making a mistake because they realize I actually don't live a lifestyle that kind of fits that area that I just picked. I just did it based on budget alone. A lot of these towns, you know, obviously need to go in with realistic expectations. You're not gonna find a super cheap house in Cary or Chapel Hill, but you know, there are always gonna be a few outliers, and I think it's just really important to make sure you are narrowing areas down that obviously do kind of fit into the budget, but really majorly fit the lifestyle and the, you know, your day-to-day Monday through Friday life.
Mistake number 2 that you want to avoid is overlooking the long-term costs and realities that come with buying a home. So maybe that's like an older house that has like wooden windows, you know, that at some point you're gonna be spending a lot of money to replace those. Or maybe it's, you know, we were just talking about some of the more rural areas. Maybe it's, you have this vision of buying like a horse farm, but you've never had a horse. Like you don't know what the costs of that are or anything like that. And so you're not calculating that into the equation.
And the third thing to avoid is rushing your decision. A lot of people, I think, you know, they're ready to make a move, their job is starting soon, or maybe they live out of state and their other house is about to close and they're like, I don't want to have to rent something in between. But I think the really important thing to do here is make sure you have actually come and visited the area, explored more than one town. And a lot of people come into town and all they want to do the whole time is tour houses. And I think that's really the worst thing you can do on your trip. You want to come and explore and make sure, like we've been mentioning this whole time, do I even like the lifestyle that Cary gives or that downtown Raleigh gives? It looked great on Google or Instagram, but like, does it actually fit what we like? And then kind of narrow that down before you really start choosing the houses, because the triangle is sprawling. There are so many different suburbs and towns around here to explore, and you can't do it on one Saturday. You need to come spend some time in the area if you can, and just not base your purchase on the house itself instead of the area. The house is going to be second to the area and like keeping you from regretting the decision.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing we help people do is narrow down those areas sometimes before those trips, because maybe you're coming into town and you don't have time to hit every single suburb of Raleigh or every single city in the area, and you want a condensed list based on the lifestyle that you enjoy living. And that's something that we do on a weekly basis for folks. So if you are looking for that kind of advice, or if you're looking to buy or sell, we are local real estate agents. You can find our contact info below and feel free to reach out to us there, or you can find us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along on Instagram. You can find us at the Honeycutt Realtors, and we'd love to chat with you over there, and we will see you next week.
Yep, see you next week.